Hey everybody, welcome to Hook and Hunt TV Live. It's been a couple weeks since we've done a couple of these, so I'm glad you guys are here. We've got a couple new episodes of Hook and Hunt TV coming up soon as well in the near future. But as we get going here, I just want to let you know we are brought to you and we are powered by Dakota Lithium. Whether you're on the grid, whether you're off the grid, get rid of your old battery and make sure you get a new Dakota Lithium. So we're having a couple hookup problems here tonight with Dale Stroshcein. He's hooking up with us from Wisconsin. I don't know if it's weather or I don't know whatever, but we're both going back and forth trying to get things. And right now, sometimes that's what happens with live broadcasts is they just don't go. They just don't work sometimes. And Dale's a Hall of Fame angler. He's actually a guide on Green Bay as well as Door County. He's been on there for 30 years. Just an absolutely great guy and has had incredible success with smallmouth fishing this year. So I'm hoping that he is going to join us here in a little bit. Hopefully he'll be able to come on. I think he's coming in. I think I see him. Hallelujah. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have him through the miracle of technology, a lot of praying and a lot of good luck. Dale, nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well, Jim. We were getting a little worried here on our end trying to figure it out. There was one step we were missing.
Oh, okay. Well, we did the longest lead-in that I've ever tried to do, and it worked out perfectly. We're so glad to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I was just telling people, I'm so happy to have you on the show tonight because you've been doing this. You're a Hall of Fame angler. You've been doing this for over 30 years. You did awesome when you were fishing professional walleye tournaments, but now for, 30 years, you've been guiding on Green Bay and Door County. Especially Green Bay, one of my favorite places to fish, one of my favorite places to duck hunt. But the smallmouth fishing and the walleye fishing on those two places has gone absolutely insane in the last 4 or 5 years, probably even longer than that. But you guide on there all the time, and I've got some great pictures of some of your clients and some other stuff because they're having a ball right now. I got to show this one before we get into it. Folks. Dale has this wonderful gentleman that we're going to show Art right here. And so I had to bring Art on because I wanted to talk to Dale. Just tell us, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. Just tell us about what you do, and then we can talk about Art because I just think that's a great story.
Well, yeah, it really is, Jim. Art's an incredible man, incredible customer. Is one of these customers you always want to have, and in a lifetime as a guide. And I've been guiding now in the Bay of Green Bay. It's going on 4 decades. We're going to be 38 years coming up here, Jim. And when I really got into this thing, I used to, like many of kids do, I rode my pedal bike down to the lagoon. I fished from dark to dark. My parents basically didn't know where I was. They assumed I was down there fishing all day, growing up in the resort business. And, here 45 years later, I'm doing things I just never thought I was going to do. I went to college. I got my degree in education over in Oshkosh, physical education. I always planned on being a teacher and then guiding as well. And then, one thing led to another. I started getting into competitively, angling early on in my college, and started realizing that there might be a career path here for me to make some money. And so I just decided I was going to pursue, competitively fishing and guiding. And, like I said, it's been a great ride, up to this point, that's for sure.
It was really interesting. I was about a little over a month and a half ago. We had Troy Linder on the show, and I've known Troy for a while. And we got to fish together earlier this year that we've been planning for a while, and we were talking about different things about what are some of the things you really like about certain people in industry. And Troy and I both said that the people that are the same when you're talking to them. And just when you see him on TV or whatever. And just so you folks know, I was down at ICAST. So was Dale and his wife, and they were working the Plano booth, which was a monster booth. They were there the whole time working the thing. And I can honestly tell you that talking to him in person is no different than this or any time that I've ever seen him on a video. One of the reasons I love doing this show is because people can see the real people that I see on the side of the industry, that are people who love to have fun, love to do, they feel blessed about what they get to do. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, it takes up a lot of time. Yes, sometimes it can be crazy, but we're still fishing and making memories with other people. And I noticed that about you a long time ago, years and years ago. And I don't expect to remember this. I met you at Bass Pro Shops, I think in Gurnee, and you were in the aisles just like I was, showing people different stuff, having a lot of fun. And I admire that about people like you. I like being around people like that because your passion has never, ever stopped. And I think it's important for people to know that when they go out fishing with you, there's going to be a passion there that can't be faked. And it's because you love what you do.
Well, and boy, Jim, I mean, you really hit you touched on so many great points there. Where to start? I mean, going back, first of all, I do kind of remember, you and I over there at Gurnee at Bass Pro Shops. I remember that, like it was basically yesterday, and those types of things I don't forget. And, the one thing about this is building the memories, like you said, and that's really what's driven me this whole time, is really working with the customer, watching them catch these fish, watching them figure out specific cadences and techniques,
Sure.
And finally getting a grasp of it. And for me, it's never been about making the money. It's always been about paying it forward. I'm a firm believer in paying it forward, because let's say, Jim, we've all learned from somebody else. Right. And, it's a quality, unfortunately, we are losing in today's society. And that's one of my biggest things today, next to working with the kids, is just making sure that I pay it forward. Talking to people at the boat landing. I've got guys that'll come up to me and say, listen, can you give me some, pointers on what to do here? I've heard other guys go, hey, book a trip with me, as they get in the boat and they leave. I'm never going to do that. I will never do that. I'm always going to sit down, give them maybe even some crankbaits if they don't have the right crankbaits, so they can go out and attack the Bay of Green Bay, properly. Give them the exact distance behind the boat, speeds, exact locations, because, again, you want to see these people have fun and succeed. Fishing is such a great outlet, and that's why I've gotten involved so, strongly today with all the different kids clinics and things like that, is because, let's face it, I mean, they're the future of our sport, as we well know.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt, and I love working with the high school and the college anglers every chance that I get, because it's fun. Because not that long ago, although it may seem long ago, not that long ago, we were on the receiving end of that. And, some people go, well, that was 25, 30 years ago. Yeah, but it doesn't seem that long to us. I was just telling my wife today is that, we're coming up on 2021. And every year for the last, I don't know how many years, I've said, it just seems like something's getting a little bit better. Something's getting even more fun. I was thrilled to be at ICAST again this year after the whole shutdown last year, just to see people smiling. I just wanted to see them smile and talk fishing. And it was so much fun. And I got a picture here to show up that I found a one-year client. So you talk about a guy who's going to be happy. Look at that thing. Look at the size of that walleye. That guy does not look like he's having a bad day. Tell us a little bit about some of the walleyes, because I know there's guys that we're gonna put this on. This will be on for a couple of weeks. There's gonna be guys in here that are gonna want to know that they know that it's good on Green Bay and in Door County. But I want to hear some stories, man. Just tell some stuff. Okay, let's just talk summer a little bit. This going into late summer. What is going on with the walleyes and smallmouth right now, and what are you seeing?
Well, as every year goes by, and as they go by quickly, they keep clicking by. The one thing you always want to remember about the Bay of Green Bay, and more importantly, Sturgeon Bay, is August is prime time. I mean, this is when it's prime time. And so people understand why it's prime time is this. Here's what happens, Jim. fish, the walleye itself, they're low light feeding fish. They don't
Right.
like high sun. They don't like, clear water. And Sturgeon Bay is known for clear water.
Right.
We can see down many areas up here, 25, 30 foot deep. So really what ends up happening is when the fish come in the spring, they're very accessible. They're along shorelines. They're doing their thing after they're spawning. People are catching fish. Everybody's happy. And then all of a sudden, the end of May rolls around, the first part of June, and everybody thinks their teeth fell out. Well, that's really not what's happening here in Sturgeon Bay. What happened is these fish are chasing bait. They're going out, they're suspending out over deep water, and they're chasing alewives. They're chasing smelt that are in the system. They're chasing gobies. And all of a sudden, one day, in the middle of July, somebody will come in and they'll pull up on Larson's Reef somewhere out there, and they get a bunch of them, and they think, okay, we got this figured out. We got this figured out. Well, they'll come back for 2 more weeks and never get a bite.
Right.
And that's because these fish are out over suspended water, and it's because there's not much light penetrating down to where they're actively feeding. And so what happens now, just so people understand why August is really the prime time, is now all of a sudden we get warmer air temperatures, the algae bloom starts forming, and these fish get much more predictable, because now what they're doing is, instead of chasing this bait out over suspended waters, they're moving up on the shoals and they're getting up on these shallow water humps. And where guys can now come back day after day after day and find these fish. And that's why August is such a great month, especially when it comes down to walleye fishing here in Sturgeon Bay. Now, when you go on the lower bay, you got to remember, a lot of that lower bay, Jim, is less than 30 foot deep.
Right.
I mean, here, many of areas you can just within a stone's throw of shoreline, we got 40, 50 foot of water.
Right.
And so the lower bay, because we always have wind and waves and everything, it keeps a lot of color in the water, making that bite really predictable and much more where you can go out day after day and catch fish down on the lower bay, unlike up here in Sturgeon Bay, where you're going to have to play the months, and then, like me, for example, as a guide, I'm down in the lower bay, chasing walleyes throughout the early part of the season. And then I'll come back up here now in August if I'm out on a walleye trip, and I can either work here or go up around Chambers Island or Hat Island or any of these great areas, where you want to get big fish. Now, the only downside I would say is this, for those that are listening today, is if you're coming to Sturgeon Bay or Hat Island or anywhere up the Door Peninsula, remember, a lot of these fish are much, much bigger than the lower bay. Not saying that you can't get big fish down in the lower bay of Green Bay, but many of these fish that you're targeting up here are going to be 25 inches and up. So if you're really looking for those great eater fish, Jim, then you want to keep your efforts down in the lower bay. That's where you're going to find those 16, 17-inch walleyes that everybody loves to eat,
Now, especially when it comes to Sturgeon Bay, since that water is clear, do you find those bigger fish, at least it's what I get what you were saying, is those bigger fish seem to be more pelagic in the summertime, chasing those bait and moving out all right. So there are definitely different tactics that you're going to have. Bigger fish are different. So, the people are listening, just bigger fish are a completely different creature. A 25 to 30 inch walleye is a completely different creature than a 16 to 17 inch walleye. And the same when it comes to smallmouth, the 2-pounders sometimes can be a completely different creature than 4 or 5 pounders. And Sturgeon Bay's known for those big monster smallmouth as well. Now, how are you targeting them in the summertime?
Well, Jim, I mean, you let's talk about hook and hunt. This is your show, right?
Yeah.
So guys and gals are going to understand this. When you come up to Sturgeon Bay, what you're doing here is you're going for 150-inch whitetail and up.
Right.
And and with that being said, the number one mistake in my eyes, and when you're out whitetail hunting, in which I'm an avid whitetail hunter with archery, number one mistake I think we make as whitetail hunters is either not having confidence, but more importantly is letting a deer win you. They'll go nocturnal or they'll never come back to that area. And when you come up to Sturgeon Bay and you're going to chase these big fish from Sturgeon Bay North, you got to remember you're going after 150-inch whitetail and up. And March 21st of 1995, straight out of the resort, I caught the world record walleye for ice fishing. So
Wow.
There are big fish in the system is my point. I
Yep.
mean, we got big whitetails here. So you got to have a little more seat time is kind of where you're going with this whole question, Jim. And, can you stumble on those big fish? Absolutely.
Sure.
But I mean, hard body baits with reactionary type of action lures works really, really well. Running the crawler harnesses, and what I like to do is if I'm really going to target these big fish now, seeing that I've gotten very, very comfortable with jigging, is going out and jigging these fish and finding these fish, on edges or up on the tops, by using side imagery or, by using your 2D sonar, going around looking for these fish. Because what happens a lot of times is when we're trolling, we're just going to hit one here and one there. We can cover water very efficiently, but when you watch what happens, a lot of times when guys troll, they'll hit an icon or they'll hit a waypoint where they're catching fish. Well, you got to troll, 3/4 of a mile one way, 3/4 of a mile the other way, or a mile one way and a mile the other way. And then all of a sudden you look at the end of the day and a lot of your blips are all in one area. That's where you need to be smarter. And that's where you're going to want to go in now and jig these fish, because now you can really get through to some of these big fish very quickly by, using shiver minnows or Johnny darters or hair jigs or, any jig that you like with any type of plastic or lipless baits or blade baits, anything like this. And I really don't think, when you jig, there's a particular lure that you should be using other than the one that you've got the most confidence in, because that is going to make a big difference in your success at the end of the day. But, if you're going to go after these big fish, many of times bigger baits, I like to use some bigger baits for some of these fish. I'll never forget, I was shooting a show with Keith Gavias already about 10 years ago for the Next Bite. And we caught a 28-inch walleye. And I told Keith, I said, hey, listen, I said, Keith, look in the fish's mouth. He's got a whitetail fin sticking out. I could see the back of the tail. And so Keith went in with the pliers and he pulled that whitefish out, Jim. Get this. That whitefish in a 28-inch walleye was 17 inches.
Oh, my goodness.
And I told Keith, I said, hey, listen, looks like we got to get bigger gulp.
That is true. We were filming a show up in La Crosse earlier this year. And so I catch a 10-inch bass. We just laughed. I'm like, oh, Nat, we're having just good time. Get the fish in a boat. And it's still got the tail of a mouse down its throat. And I pulled that fish, that little 10-inch bass had to just eat that mouse before my spinnerbait came along. When these fish want to eat, they want to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to tell you, we've got some comments on here that just for some great folks that watch the show. James Yarlin, he said, hey, Jim, you're the same way. It shows, great to see Dale on there. Diane Weimer, Diane, hi, love her. She's from Wisconsin. She goes, two nice guys. Well, Diane, you don't get out much. That's all I'm telling you. That's really good, though. And Scott Scarda, I don't know where Scott's from, but he said,
that's a great customer of mine, Jim.
He said he wants a trip in August. So he wants a trip in August. So there you go. And then Rick Reed, a fan of the show, and there's some more comments. Rick, always thank you for joining in. Yes, we are having a great time. This is just what we do. Two guys who love to have a great time. So hey, it's great to see that.
Quick story, Jim.
Sure.
Scott Scarda, okay, he's got a son, Keegan, and this kid, when I met him here a couple of years back, one of the very first trips I took this young man out and we shiver minnowed for walleyes, and did he just put on a clinic.
Awesome.
And I'm telling you what, I have met just a couple kids in my lifetime that are going to be phenomenal anglers, and let me tell you, Keegan Scarda, this kid has got what it takes, Jim. There's not many like him. And he can just tear it up with the best of them. It's amazing to watch the way that he just fishes in the boat, knowing, we went to net one time a fish, and immediately once I got the fish in the net, he started pulling line off the reel and he knew that I needed more room.
There you go.
These are things that you only acquire as we get older,
Yeah.
And great kid, great family, by the way.
And folks, if you see both Dale and I smiling about this, and we both love this. Anytime you see kids, my dad was this way with me when I was 3, and and pushing fishing and having fun. We had a blast, a lot of great memories. When I've got kids in the crowd or when we meet them at stores, I know Dale's the same way. You're excited because you see the smile that you generate by talking to somebody or telling them about a story or hearing that story that they're going to tell you. And if they want to take their time to tell you a story, for crying out loud, you better listen. They're excited. They're having fun. And I think that's what Dale and I both get so much. Definitely one of the things in this industry that we both definitely love is that there are some shining spots out there, folks. There are some kids out there that have been raised right. They want to fish, they want to hunt, and you can see that in how they react to people. And it's just a wonderful thing to see. Dale, with a little bit of time we have left, I want to switch over to how can people get a hold of you? What are your booking things? How can people get a hold of you? Because I think after this, I'm hoping some more people are going to want to go and hang out with you and just learn some great stuff.
Well, they can get a hold of us either here at our resort. They can call toll free. It's 888-879-5548 is our toll free number here at Sand Bay Beach Resort. Karen handles everything. I've got a number of different guides that work underneath me so we can accommodate you. I've got a muskie specialist, Dave Olson. He also does walleye and smallmouth, Mark Jackson, and myself. So, and then, Dale at wackywalleye.com is my email. So if they want to get a hold of us by email, and it's always best if they're looking for trips to go ahead and call my wife Karen here at Sand Bay Beach Resort and Suites. And then by all means, please, and I sincerely mean this, people that are listening today, and for those of you that are going to see this, I'm like Motel 6. I'll always leave the light on for you. So don't be afraid to message me with any questions you have in regards to fishing, because I will write you back a novel. No yes and no.
He will. He will. He will. And I'm telling you right now, just a shout out to Karen. She's a freaking rock star. I'm just telling you. She can coordinate anything. She is fantastic. And Karen, thanks for everything that you helped us out, Corbin. Dale, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And please, I'm hoping we can have you back on in the spring and we'll talk some walleye and smallmouth tactics again. But an absolute pleasure, sir. And I know everybody on here really, really liked it. And I thank you for your time. I thank Karen for everything. And I hope you come back again.
I will do that, Jim. And thank you for having me. And thank you for what you do, Jim. And I'm going to leave you guys with one tip, what I've been witnessing here this year on the Bay. When you're going and you're looking for fish, people, don't always be 100% dependent on your graph. Too many people are coming in, graphing, and they're not seeing anything and they're moving on. As I've got 6, 7, 8 fish in the boat. So that's one tip I'm going to leave with you folks. Graphs are great, but remember, they don't cover everything. You're going to cover a lot more water at times, by going out and casting and working that spot. So tight lines, everybody, and thank you, Jim, for having me.
God bless you and Karen, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
That was Dale Stroschein. I'm so glad I had him on the show. He's just such a great guy, a wealth of knowledge. And if any of you truly want to book a trip, look up Wacky Walleye Guide Service. You can find him on Facebook. Do it. He is a great guy who gives a lot of information, is not scared to share it. Obviously a very talented and a very caring individual. Dale, thank you. And again, thanks to Karen as well. Okay, so we told you we were going to give you, those of you tuned into the Facebook Live earlier tonight, I said we were going to give you a discount code tonight. I'm going to show you this. You see one of the shirts I'm wearing here, and I know it's kind of hard to see it, but I'm also going to show you this one here, okay? These are the new sun shirts, Prime 1 Camo sun shirts, exclusively from Lure Parts Online. And so what's great about these shirts, all right? So they have SPF 30. These hoods, actually, when you put them up, do not slip down. These are the sun shirts that I wear all the time. I've been wearing this Prime 1 Camo and for the last couple years. Now they moved together with Lure Parts Online to bring you guys these shirts in 4 exclusive colors. There's cool camo, there's stealth gray, there's aquamarine, Arctic blue. These, without question, are the most comfortable sun shirts I've ever worn. So for you guys listening tonight, okay, we just released these at Lure Parts Online. And you know where you can go to Lure Parts Online. You can go to lurepartsonline.com. That's the code you use if you want to order some stuff But if you just want the performance hoodies, this is it. This code right here for the new performance hoodie 2021, you will get 20% off these hoodies. Okay, they're only $39.99. You're going to get 20% off of $39.99, and I'm telling you guys, ladies too, if you get one, you're going to want to get another one. These are the most breathable sun shirts I've ever worn, and I don't take that lightly. I got tired of hoodies where the collars would fall down all the time when you'd bend over, or they block your peripheral vision. These do not do that. These will keep you very cool. They're SPF 30. They are very roomy. They have vents under here to breathe. They are wonderful, wonderful shirts. If you're interested, go to lurepartsonline.com, put in the code 2020 hoodie 2021 and put it just like you got there, capital HOODIE 2021. You will get 20% off that hoodie. I'm that confident you guys are going to love these. You will see me wearing these the rest of the year on our fishing episodes. They are that good. Now, if you want to go to Prime One Camo for other stuff, you can put in the code Hero1 for anything at Prime One Camo. They've been excellent supporting this show, supporting us over the years. I love Prime One Camo, just great people. The best sunglasses on the planet, and we've got new styles that just came out. Go to fish419.com. Put in the code ThanksJC, and you will get a discount there for as much as you want to order. And we support autism anglers. Okay, so we would appreciate if you're looking for someone to support that does a lot of good for the community worldwide. They do it for, and autism is something that needs to be understood. And Autism Anglers is doing a great job of that. If you see any of their apparel that you like, please go to autismanglers.com and you can put in the code Hook and Hunt 10 and you can save a little bit there as well. I'm going to show you one more time here for the hoodie here, and that's for the performance hoodie. There's your discount code for 20% off is 2021. I need to tell you guys all something too. I get a bunch of great emails, some messages on Facebook, and some other stuff. And I thank you so much for watching this show. I thank you for watching Hook and Hunt TV Live. I thank you for watching Hook and Hunt TV and all the kind words. I've met some of you on the road this year traveling. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the kind words and encouragement. We are very blessed. God has blessed us on what we can do. We can continue to do it for as long as he lets us. But I thank you, because without all of you, we wouldn't have any of these shows. We are powered by Dakota Lithium. Remember, if you're on the grid, off the grid, get rid of your old battery. Hook up with Dakota Lithium, another great company. Thank you all for joining us tonight. God bless you. Keep fishing. I'm Jim Crowley. Hey, we will see you soon.